On today's video, we're going to tell you the real reason the Chiefs assigned Melvin Gordon to the practice squad. Is SNEED the best cornerback in the NFL? And also, Chiefs-Bengals, the rematch. It's coming up. It's the revenge game. Let's talk about it.
All right, so the Kansas City Chiefs assigned Melvin Gordon, previously of the Denver Broncos, to our practice squad, Mike. A lot of people were calling for this, and we kind of thought it was a weird, kind of dumb idea, considering we had Ronald Jones Jr., but nonetheless, Veach went and did it. What do you think the reasoning behind all that is, Mike?
Okay, so we baited it. I'm going to tell you what it is. I think the real reason we signed Melvin Gordon is none other than he knows the Denver Broncos playbook. I think that's why he's here. Maybe on the back burner, he's an insurance policy, just in case there's an injury to McKinnon or Rojo, God forbid, Isaiah Pacheco, or maybe Clyde doesn't get back as fast as they think he will, or as healthy as they think he will over that high ankle sprain. I think it's just another weapon on the back burner, on the practice squad. But yeah, I think the real reason, and don't click off the video just yet because we're going to talk about more stuff, but I do think the real reason that we signed him is basically just for intel. We still got 2 more games against the Broncos, and we want to beat them.
Well, I mean, most people are going to be thinking, like, why do you need any kind of intel to beat the Broncos? They are a dumpster fire, which kind of goes through my head as well. But at the same time, you can never be too safe in divisional matchups. We're trying to secure that number 1 seed, have the playoffs run through Arrowhead. So, I mean, any leg up you can get is smart. So I think that's a good decision by Veach. But I wouldn't look too much into it. I don't think he's going to see the field or anything like that. But I think it's just a little insurance plan just in case someone else goes down, because you never know. Injuries happen. We're getting that time of year where the guys are a little banged up. They've got, 11 games under their belt so far. So can't ever be too safe when it comes to stuff like that. But Denver kind of ran him out of there because if he was fumbling the ball so much, which is something that we've heard about Ronald Jones before. But apparently it's a big issue with Melvin Gordon. What kind of stats do you have at Denver? I mean, did he put up anything that helped out with that? Or was it literally just no production and I'm going to fumble the ball a
lot? He was waived week 10. He did have 90 carries for 318 yards, 2 touchdowns. He added 25 receptions for 223 yards.
So he was responsible for like 65% of the Broncos' entire offense this year.
Yeah, and they got rid of him. But yeah, 5 fumbles. They lost 2 of them. So he was responsible for 2 complete turnovers. Going back to Rojo, I think he looked really good in the limited touches he got this past weekend. And I think this signing kind of comes out of nowhere. I think we were all like, hey, it looks like Rojo maybe earned some more, snaps and this and that. And then out comes Melvin Gordon. I bet Rojo in the back of his mind is like, what did I ever do to Brett Veach and the Chiefs that they hate me so much? I'm right there with you, Rojo. I have no idea. I just don't think you have to worry too much about Melvin Gordon unless we said there's an injury pop up or Clyde don't get back as healthy as they thought he was going to be. And yeah, other than that, dude, Steve, we signed somebody else today to the practice squad. Wide receiver Bryan Edwards. You might remember him. He was drafted in 2020 in the 3rd round by the Oakland Raiders.
Honestly, I don't remember much about Bryan Edwards. I don't know much about Bryan Edwards, and I don't care to. Like, I feel like it's just a practice squad signing. I'm not excited about it whatsoever. I could care less. Same as the Melvin Gordon signing to me. Like, it's kind of hit or miss. But yeah, I mean, do you like him? Do you see anything productive coming from that, or do you think it's just another body on the practice squad?
He's just a big body. I don't know. He's 6'3", 212. I think he's played 35 games, 48 receptions for 779 yards, 4 touchdowns. Nothing that crazy. He was drafted the same year as Henry Ruggs, actually, out of Alabama, which we all know about Henry Ruggs. But to put it in perspective, Henry Ruggs only played 20 games with the Raiders, and he had 2 more receptions and literally like 200 more yards and the exact same amount of touchdowns. And he played less than half the games. So Bryan Edwards is not that explosive. I do know Derek Carr liked him when he was there. Like, it was one of his go-to receivers for just a few weeks. It wasn't a very long thing.
But yeah, all you Chiefs fans that absolutely love every time we sign anyone that gets cut from another team, be happy, be excited. We got Melvin Gordon and we got Bryan Edwards. But I mean, there's not much to it. Don't overthink it. Let's move on to one of our players that has been playing out of his mind lately, and that's SNEED. PFF came out today and said he's the number 2 ranked cornerback in the entire NFL when it comes to overall defense. And this last week, he actually was the number 1 overall defender in the entire National Football League. with a 92.5 PFF grade. He only allowed 9 yards. He had an interception and a 37.5 passer rating allowed. He literally went off this week, and that was with a mid-game injury. So, I mean, Snead's playing on another level, and I think it's due to be paying this man. What about you?
Yeah, Snead looks really good. He has the whole season. His big memorable plays are always the blitz off the edges, in which he just
Yeah.
completely lays someone out. I think we had already talked about how if somebody don't finally pick him up, he's going to murder someone. I don't know if he's the best corner in football, but last week he could have been. He probably was. I would like to see one better. I thought he played better than Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I mean, he fits right into Spag's system because Spags loves to blitz and throw different blitz packages. And L'Jarius Sneed's probably the best blitzing cornerback in the NFL by far. If you've noticed, they've kind of based some of their late draft picks this last year to where they kind of fit the mold of L'Jarius Sneed. If you look at Josh Williams and Jalen Watson, they both have that long body and can be explosive when needed. But I don't know, man. I think that they go ahead and get this guy locked up probably as soon as possible. But we all know that Brett Veach is going to do exactly what he needs to do and when he needs to do it. So I'm not worried about that. And you guys shouldn't be either. But just props to L'Jarius Sneed for just playing out of his mind lately. Keep it going, man. You've been a spark in the defense, and this defense is continuing to get better. So love to see it. Let's go ahead and move on to the Bengals game, man. So I think we have a lot of players on our team that are ready to get some revenge on these guys because that game last season in the AFC Championship, that might be the most disappointing game in recent Chiefs history. I think it might be worse than losing to Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, in my opinion, because it was an epic meltdown in the second half. I mean, they were just slaughtering this team. They were head and shoulders better and were dominant the first half and then come out and just laid down and rolled over, man. So I think they're ready to get at it. What about you?
Yeah, I think the Bengals, they've been a thorn in our side for the last year, 2 years, whatever it is. We lost to them twice last year in the exact same fashion. A lot of bad calls. Don't get me wrong, lots of bad calls out there. Gifting touchdowns in the fourth quarter, walking them down the field, you name it. But yeah, the Chiefs shot themselves in the foot countless times. We had the whole Eric B. Enemy mix up on the sideline. That was the big story with maybe Tyreek Hill. Was there a fight? Was there not? Who knows? But every time we play the Bengals, it seems like we always come out fired up. It seems like we always put a lot of points on the board, and then we fail to come out in the second half and continue to put the foot on the gas and continue to stop Joe Burrow. We always let them get back in it, and we cannot do that. That includes this week. But yeah, I do believe they come out this week with a little bit more fire and a little bit more intensity. I believe they want to beat them just as bad. Mahomes don't want to lose to Burrow again. I mean, Mahomes is clearly the better quarterback out of the two, but you've got people that think that Joe Burrow is the best quarterback ever over Patrick Mahomes, and that's just silly.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky actually come out and said that Joe Burrow is the Grim Reaper and that everyone in the NFL should be scared of this guy. They started off pretty bad this season. They have picked it up lately, but then there was the Jamar Chase injury that kind of slowed them down just a bit. But I mean, when you have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, it's not going to slow you down a whole lot. But Jamar Chase is a big absence. And of course, he's going to be back for this Chiefs game because whether they want to admit it or not, beating the Chiefs is a little bit like their Super Bowl, just like everybody else. And they don't want to go out and lose to the Chiefs. That's just like a big game on everyone's schedule every year. So, do you think that they're going to have like a bit of a different game plan than last year? Because we noticed last year, they always would tend to change their defense at halftime to go ahead and stifle Mahomes, put like 8 people back in coverage, or maybe 7 people in coverage, one spy in them, and then 3 rushers. Um, but it was working perfectly. Mahomes looked probably the worst I've ever seen him play in that second half of that game last year. He was seeing ghosts. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, Mahomes. It almost looked fake. It was so bad. And that's sad. So do you think they're going to come with a different game plan this year? Because we have a whole different team with a different strategy. So do they come with the same stuff and we just beat it or what?
Yeah, I think they will. I think that they think that they're the ones that exposed Mahomes, and I believe that they want to see if he's finally figured out a way to beat it. You don't have a Tyreek Hill to get over the top, but you do have to respect MVS's speed. You have to respect Skyy Moore's speed. Is Kadarius Toney going to play? We don't know. If he's on the field, you have to respect his speed a little bit. Um, Juju underneath. they'll probably allow that a lot. Is Mahomes going to be patient? Is he going to be patient? Is he going to try to go over the top and prove Cincinnati wrong if they do sit back in that shell? I would think that Mahomes has grew to this point and that we will kind of change what we're doing to beat it. But I do believe they'll come out. You'll see some of that same defense from the Bengals. I don't see why you wouldn't. I feel like they're just as arrogant as our coaches want to be
Well,
sometimes.
I can give you one reason why, and that's Isaiah Pacheco. Because if they do this dare you to run the ball crap that they did last season, he's going to run it down their throat. And I think Andy would actually do it because, I mean, he has to know that his stubbornness got them beat last year. It was an obvious thing that everybody talked about. So, I mean, he can't go out and do it again.
Hey,
Not with Pacheco back there, man.
you know we should run the ball. I know we should run the ball. 99% of Chiefs Kingdom know we should run the ball. Andy and Patrick won't run the ball. It's not going to happen. So having
Man,
Pacheco, but I
if
don't
they're
know if it's
only
going to
putting
matter.
three up front, seven in coverage and one spy, you have to let him eat, man, because he would be chunking off 8 yards a carry easy. It's easy money there. But I just know that everybody's excited to get this one over with. Hopefully, get a dub and get that stupid Bengals thing out from over our heads. But yeah, I saw where on Travis and Jason Kelsey's podcast, New Heights, which is excellent. If you guys haven't watched it, make sure to watch it. I mean, we all know you love Travis, and Jason's just as funny. But they're actually having Patrick Mahomes on the show this Thursday, which is something that everybody's kind of been pumped and waiting for. But apparently, you know, Kelsey kind of said something to him in passing at first when they first started the podcast, but never said anything else. And then Jason got on Twitter and said something to Mahomes, so got him on the show. I'm pretty excited to see what he has to say. Mike, what are you hoping to hear from Patrick Mahomes? Like, what kind of content are you hoping he goes with? Is it more football content, personal content? What are you hoping to hear?
No, I don't think they're not going to give a lot of football content up. They're not going to give away game plans and things like that. I kind of just want to hear a little bit about what's going on with Mahomes and Brittany right now. The new baby's on its way. Maybe he gives us a little insight on what the name could be. I know we had a special where we actually tried to call it. We were going to do a part two of that. Haven't got around to it, but yeah, I'm kind of curious. I want to see what he thinks. You know, a little bit about his personal life. See what he's got going on around Kansas City. Maybe he'll give us an insight to if they're going to try to get the Royals to be a contender this year for the first time in ages. But other than that, yeah, I think that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't think they'll give up a lot of football insight, to be
No,
honest.
but I'm excited because I think there'll be some football stories. Mahomes is a character, man. If you ever watch any of the mic'd up stuff or anything like that in the snow game and things like that, like this dude's a big kid and it's amazing and it's funny. And I'm sure there's some funny stories. Hopefully they can dig in on that and get some of those. Jason can help Travis dig them out of Mahomes and that'll be fun to watch. So guys, make sure you tune into that. It'll just be something fun to watch. And we're excited to see it. But let's go ahead and get back to the football talk. Skyy Moore has officially been ruled out as your punt returner. For the love of God, thank you. Way too many weeks late. Andy Reid came out today and said that he will not be doing it anymore. He took full responsibility for just bad coaching decisions there. And he said that he felt like he was responsible for not taking care of it. And he even risked Skyy Moore's confidence by continuously making him do this. So, I mean, hey, we're excited, right? I mean, it's over. No more Skyy Moore on the punt return experiment.
Hey, that's what they say. We'll see. Um, we've been saying that though. It was hurting his confidence. He just hadn't done that before. I don't expect him to be able to come into the NFL. These punters, they all have different spins off the ball off their foot. I remember Dustin Colquitt, the left footer that we used to have, used to give people fits because of the way the ball would spin and come off his foot. Um, you have to look at different field conditions, different domes. The Indy Dome played a huge part in him sucking on that week. But other than that, yeah, of course, Andy's going to take full credit. I don't think he was going to go out there and throw Dave Tobe under the bus. Do I think that Andy Reid went to Dave Tobe every week and was like, you got to get Skyy back there? No, I don't think that's what he did. I think he just trusted Tobe and what Tobe's seen in Skyy Moore or his vision for what he thought he's seen. And I believe he just didn't want to come out and throw him under the bus. So he just fell on the sword himself, which is what good coaches do.
However,
So
however, let's get real here because I guarantee you exactly what happened was he was like, no more of this. It's done. It's a wrap. Stop. I guarantee you that happened. Andy reached straight to Tobe's face, and then he went out and took the blame because that's what good coaches do. But that's exactly what
mm,
happened. But yeah, it was a good game yesterday. And you can listen to us talk about our instant reactions right here in this video. So make sure to click that, hit that like button, leave some comments. We'll talk to you about it. And we're going to get more into this Bengals game later on this week. So we'll catch you then, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure to sub, hit the like button, all that good stuff. See you later, man.
Peace.
There goes a sight from my soul.